Hello there my fellow holotable heroes and welcome to another Datacron video. We already had a look at the focus Datacrons in the previous one, so today we'll be looking at the standard farmable Datacrons because Conquest just started last night, so we can now slowly start farming them when we are ready. Now, just the initial thoughts on this set. It's a bit of an interesting one because again the level 6s don't relate to factions, but instead on the unit classes themselves, like healers, tanks, support and attackers. And I don't know exactly how it works, but it's because there's no faction level 6. I think the level 3s will be more difficult to farm because normally like level 9 would lock level 6, then level 6 would lock level 3. So when you're rolling, you have better chance of getting what you want. So I think that probably level 3s will be very difficult to nail down just because you won't be locked to either light or dark side. At least I think that's how it all works. Overall, this really should be called memes of war, not pillars of war, because as you will see on some of the level 9s, a lot of meme characters in there. Now that's not to say that all of them are bad, even for the meme characters. But obviously, because they are meme characters, not many of us will have them leveled up, and if the unit itself is not very good, like how much boost they can get from a level 9 with relic delta, like if they're relic 3 or 5, will they be actually able to do something? But you know, we'll go through them and discuss them once we get there. Let's kick off the video by reviewing the stats. Pretty solid stats on this one. So the figures, the ranges of the figures you see on the screen here are like, you know, the ranges if you would only have that stats on all the levels, just to get an idea. Like if you want to go, okay, I will keep rolling until I get armor penetration, everything. I'll keep rolling until I get health on everything on all the levels. This is kind of the maximum or minimum range you can get by going for that. And as you can see, armor penetration by far the biggest stat boost getting here, between 310 and 440% armor penetration in total across all levels. So that's definitely, as you will see the stars next to levels, these are the ones that I recommend, that I'll be going for. Definitely armor penetration is very good. Unless, you know, units like Drogon, for example, or Fennec, they deal special damage, they won't be benefiting from armor penetration. But for the most part, I think armor penetration is gonna be a good stat to have. A huge boost to potency as well, but their potency is kind of niche really for many units. Crit damage is getting an okay boost, and this will be the case probably for teams with Drogon. You will want crit damage over armor penetration. However, a lot of units, a lot of teams these days do have some sort of anti-crit thing in their kits, so it's not always possible to run crits on them. That's a necessary good boost, but you know, very niche uses as well. And then health and protection getting a solid boost overall. Now you could have case for both of them, but I think health overall is more useful than protection, just because we have more ways of recovering health. We have units that deal damage based on their health, like Malgus, as well as Bane, like Rey's Lifeblood gives more protection up based on her health. All the protection up effects, you know, from Kenobi's, Padme's, it's all based off health. So I feel like health is a little bit better than protection. The only case, I guess, for protection would be if you want to mitigate the health-based damage effects like Death Mark, thermal detonators, and of course Jedi Master Luke's inherited teachings benefit of protection. So, you know, protection could be nice as well. And crit chance, whatever. Alright, let's go and have a look at the dark side bonuses here for level 3. We've had this one already before, so when dark side units deal debuffs, they also deal 2% max health damage. Now 2% is not a lot, so it's not going to be a game changing, but you know, for units like Darth Vader, Lord Vader, they spam a lot of debuffs. I guess this could be beneficial with some little bit extra damage. And then the other one, I guess, like the default one that anybody can benefit from on basic, you gain speed up, right? More speed, more turns, more damage you can do. And the other three, like starting with protection up, accuracy up, evasion down, whatever, right? I guess on days or stun recover 10% health protection. This could be maybe nice for Emperor Palpatine with his must stun, right? He could recover then 50% protection if he gets stunned on everybody. But in that, yeah, I think speed up is gonna be the king here for the dark side. Now, light side, however, they have a lot more options to choose from. So, obviously we have the return of the 25% turn meter at the start of the battle. That's always nice to have. And then we have the return of the Datacron also, so we are familiar with those two. We also have a return of gaining 5% offense at the start of the turn if the unit had at least 2 dispellable buffs on them. This could be very powerful in a Queen Amidala squad with all those buffs you're dishing out. Imagine how much damage Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi could be able to stack up with all those buffs. I think it could be pretty deadly. And the other two, gaining offense up on evasion and 25% chance to dispel debuffs, are not going to be that useful. So definitely light side having it a lot better than dark side yet again. Okay, so let's move over onto level 6. So starting off with the bonuses for tanks. Tanks have a kind of okay-ish ones, but I guess, you know, starting with damage immunity at the start for like about 2 turns, that can be dispelled, so not an issue. Then this one, if I remember correctly, was sometimes annoying to deal with at the start of each turn if non-galactic legends have more than 50% turn meter, they reduce damage taken by 75%. So a little bit annoying sometimes this one to deal with. Luckily just non-GL tanks, right, so it won't affect like Ahsoka, Leia and Jedi Master Luke, and as well Hondo? No, Hondo's not a tank. Those guys, but you know, you've got the Jedi Master Kenobi, suddenly Jedi Kenobi gets a lot harder to take down. So I think this one could be like annoying a little bit on defense. Also maybe this will also stop teams that rely on health-based damage, like Night Sisters versus Jabba, where basically you get through Coruscant very quickly because of the Plague. Now when he takes turn, he won't be taking so much damage from Plague, so it could a little bit throw off some counters. So definitely have, you know, good to have a few in your inventory, depending on the use cases. When stunned, gain 50% turn meter, not that great. The first time each tank falls below 50% health, they gain damage immunity. Okay, fine, I guess. However, probably as rule with Datacrons, the more words in a description, the better probably Datacron is. And this is the case. So again, we have the return of this one. We had this one before. So once per battle, when a tank is defeated, revive them with 100% health and protection and gain a bonus turn. So this is going to be very useful. Imagine you barely get through a Relic 9, now with Relic Delta, Ahsoka, or Relic 9 Leia, and guess what? You have to get through them again because they revive. Or even something like, if you're going up against Jedi Master Kenobi, Cat insta-kills your tank, he comes right back up. So definitely, you know, a good one to have as well, available for certain situation. On top of it all, the tank will gain a taunt when another ally gets debuffed, and as well on taunt they will gain defense up and stacking critical avoidance. So more ways to gain taunts is always good. And then when they're critically hit when taunting, they will also recover 15% health and protection. Again, imagine Ahsoka recovering health, right, when she's taunting. Oh man, that's gonna be crazy. And when a non-tank ally uses special abilities, tanks will assist. If the enemy was taunting, they will also deal 250% bonus damage. So definitely a huge boost to, you know, especially I think Ahsoka and Leia at this level 6. And let's have a look at attackers. Now, when a bit debuff on enemy expires, attackers gain 2% offense, 4% offense if debuffs were dispelled. Again, this is probably gonna go well with the level 3 for max health damage, for dark side with your Lord Vader, because you cleanse off the damage over times, or they expire and that means more offense for Lord Vader. Inflict mark if no other enemy is marked, I mean, okay. Repost on special, it's an interesting one, definitely has its uses, but maybe not as like catch-all as maybe the last two. you take a bonus turn on defeating an enemy. Like, this is actually very useful as well. While we did discuss the tank one could be good for Leia, same thing you could say the attacker one with bonus turn could be good for Leia teams as well. I remember we had this before, and Drogon, usually, you know, if you play correctly, you can just one-shot weaker units at the start of the battle, and then Drogon gets another turn straight away, or somebody like Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, he can just keep taking enemies down, taking bonus turns. So definitely, I think this is a good one. And finally, the more words, the better the Datacron, right? Let's go and read it through. When an enemy is debuffed, all attackers gain accuracy up, okay. And then also 5% stacking offense. And when they attack out of turn, attackers also deal bonus true damage and gain 5% defense penetration stacking. And finally, when they use a special ability, they deal 25% more damage for each buff on the target enemy. And then finally, you ignore stealth and taunt if you have no debuffs. So pretty cool one to have, ability to ignore taunts is gonna be very, very useful. Now moving on to the healers and support, as you can see, just 1 star on each. Like, really the word Kron is good, everything else is a bit meh. Let's just quickly run through the healers. On the end of turn, recover 50% protection if they inflicted 5 plus debuffs. Right? How many healers actually inflict that many debuffs? I don't know. On the end of turn, recover health and protection equal to 50% of enemies' health and protection recovery. And on health recovery, recover equal amount of protection. On AoE damage, grant tenacity up to allies. So you can see, not really impressive. So if you are going for healers, you will want the long one. So let's go ahead and read it together. So on the start of the turn, healers will inflict healing immunity on all enemies. That's huge, right? And then whenever a non-healer is healed by a healer, they reduce their cooldowns by 1. That's pretty cool. And then first time an ally falls below 25% health, all allies recover 50% health and 100% protection. And then also the first time an ally is defeated, revive them with 50% health and 2% and 2 heal over times. And then finally, when a healer is crit, they recover 15% health and protection and grant heal over time to the weakest ally. So you can see this is gonna probably be one, especially the healing immunity, man, that's gonna be huge. And for the support, similar story, you know, not a whole lot going on until you get to the word Kron. Ability block, if no enemy's ability blocked, if you add a buff to another ally, they gain 10% turn meter. On stun, gain speed up and offense up, but how many support units stun? Gaining speed up, offense up, inflict expose, I don't know. And then on the start of the turn, if they had less than 2 buffs, other allies gain 15% turn meter, but a lot of teams have lots of buffs, so this won't trigger as much. However, the word Kron delivering again, because check this out. We start with evasion up, tenacity up, and inflict tenacity down on all enemies. At the start of the battle, you'll be doing all of that, so it's pretty cool. And then at the start of the turn, dispel buffs on all enemies. That is pretty cool, don't you think so? And if evasion, health, steal, potency or tenacity up were dispelled, also inflict opposite debuff on all enemies. And finally, when support units are critically hit or debuffed, they will gain stealth. And finally, when non-support units are crit, grant them protection up 20%. So these 2 last paragraphs, not that impressive, but really the middle bit, dispelling all buffs at the start of the turn, is gonna be absolutely huge. Okay, so let's go through level 9s. As mentioned before, there's lots of meme characters in there. As you can see, Cup, we got Ugnaught as well in there, Jedi Consular later on, but some of these are actually useful. Speaking of Cup, he's actually could be nice if you do have obviously a Trolloc Cup. I don't. Think with Queen Amidala he could be good. If there are no Galactic Legend allies, when Cup attacks a stunned enemy, remove 100% turn meter and a random attacker ally gains a bonus turn. Sounds nice. And finally, when Cub gains turn meter, he removes the same amount of turn meter from a random enemy. And then on damage, Galactic Republic allies also remove 20% turn meter. So imagine Queen Amidala with those attacks out of turn, you can constantly keep removing turn meters. I think this could be a nice boost to Amidala. Then 5s as 1 is kind of interesting, but I don't know, will it get much utility? So when 5s attacks out of turn, he will deal 150% bonus damage. Like, it's not gonna be a lot, right? 5s is a tank, doesn't deal a lot of damage. Inflict offense down and healing immunity on all enemies, I guess good for banner sniping perhaps. And finally, when 5s loses taunt, remove 50% turn meter from all enemies and inflict blind. So it's got some utility, but definitely not the top notch. Like, Biggs sounds good on paper, but you know, if you got like relic free Biggs, relic free Wedge, like most of us do, will this really do a whole lot? But if you got high relic Wedge and Biggs, it could be maybe interesting with Saw or even Mon Mothma. So if Wedge is an ally, Biggs gains 50% of max health and protection. And then on damage, it will also inflict defense down and vulnerable. And then when Wedge assists, Wedge will deal 50% bonus damage. Then there's also 75% chance that Wedge assists for the second time, and this second attack will deal 100% bonus damage, and another 50% chance that Wedge attacks for the third time, dealing 200% bonus damage. So as you can see, you know, this could be quite a deadly punch out of the gate. And finally, whenever an ally attacks out of turn, Biggs gains 5% turn meter. Short Trooper. If all allies are Empire or Imperial Troopers, all allies gain 50% health steal, max health and protection. Short Trooper gains defense up and taunt. Like, Short Trooper only pre-taunts anyway, so I'm not sure why that is in there. And when Short Trooper loses taunt, he recovers 20% health and protection, so not gonna be that useful, I think. Maybe before we had clones, you could use Short Trooper with Lord Vader, it could be somewhat useful, but now Short Trooper does not really have a home. And because of the clause that has to be Empire or Imperial Trooper lineup, he can't be like a plug-and-play tank for the Sith Eternal or Supreme with a Caloran. Ugnaught, I'm not... like... Ugnaught is just not a good character. First of all, we need to be relicked up to be useful, and second of all, like, even when we look at the stats, like normally the rule is the more words the better Datacron is. In this case, I don't think all these words can actually help him. Ugnaught has 30% plus evasion, starts with inflicting breach and health down at the start of the battle. For each droid enemy, he gains 20% counter chance and crit chance and defense and health steal and max protection. On the start of the turn, he will dispel all debuffs on himself and resets all his cooldowns, so I guess you can keep spamming over and over his AoE, I guess. When he evades, all enemies lose 10% protection, droids 20, and when he damages a stunned enemy, inflict 2 damage over times. When he damages an enemy with 5+ buffs, dispel all the buffs from target enemy, and all enemies are inflicted with 2 damage over times, droids 4 damage over times. So it's mostly versus droids, but I wouldn't bother with Ugnaught. It's meme character with an absolute meme of a cron, to be honest. Then Dooku for some reasons looks like 2 level different 9s you can roll for Dooku. So the first one, he has 200% crit chance and damage if he's debuffed, which most cases he's not because he self-cleanses anyway, so not sure how much benefit that will be. And whenever Separatist ally uses a special, Dooku will assist and dispel all buffs on the target enemy. This actually could be helpful. And on the end of the turn, Dooku is inflicted with disarm until the start of his next turn. Like, I don't know what the purpose of... Oh, I see now. Dooku is inflicted with disarm so that he has 200% crit chance and damage, because disarm can't be dispelled. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay, fair enough. And when damaged on his turn, the weakest enemy is dealt 200% of that damage. So how can you be damaged on your own turn? his basic can't be counterattacked. If it's a damage, oh, I guess if he receives damage? I don't know, that's an interesting one. And then the other one is not that great, just when Dooku stealths, he recovers 100% protection. And for Alia, could be an interesting one to boost Jedi Master Mace Windu. So Alia, when she attacks out of turn, will gain heal over time and protection over time. That's not that great, but she will inflict the target enemy with protection disruption. So protection disruption means no bonus protection up, I think. So will that be enough to like get through a Traya? If somebody tries to do Traya versus Master Mace, could be an interesting thing to test. Okay, and moving on, Royal Guard. So Royal Guard is similar like Short Trooper. We used to use him with Lord Vader, but now clones replaced him. Otherwise his level 9 is not bad, it's just like trying to think of where to use them, right? So when Royal Guard loses taunt, he will remove 50% turn meter from all enemies. Luminara is an interesting one as well. I don't have her leveled up, but especially maybe if you do have her Omicron, you could make a use out of her level 9, because when enemies attack out of turn, all enemies are inflicted with protection disruption, and all allies gain heal over time and protection over time. And finally, at the start of Luminara's turn, all allies below 50% health gain 2 heal over time. So I think could have some good uses. That protection disruption, like we've seen with Alia, you know, could really help burning through some enemies. Now Darth Vader is an interesting one, but because he doesn't really get a whole lot of uses anymore, like what would you use this with? Some sort of Star Killer lineup? Maybe? I don't know. So if there are no Galactic Legend allies, so you can't even use this with Lord Vader or Sith Eternal, Darth Vader can't be defeated until all allies are defeated. When an ally is defeated, Darth Vader dispels all debuffs on himself, resets cooldowns, and takes a bonus turn. During his turn, Darth Vader has plus 50% health steal for each defeated ally. So for offensive purposes, if you're losing enemies, it's not a good battle. So, but maybe there'll be some tricky team to put on defense potentially, I don't know. Talia, like Dooku, is getting 2 level 9s, both of them equally unimpressive. So the first time Talia falls below 30% health, she dispels debuffs on herself, recover 40% health and gain bonus turn. And Talia gains 15% turn meter when other allies use a special ability on their turn. Like Talia is usually left out of all Night Sister squads, and none of these 2 level 9s really scream out, hey, use me instead of another Night Sister. Then we got one for base, so if Chirrut is an ally, when he or base attack out of turn, they will gain 50% crit chance and equalize their health and protection. And if they crit on this attack out of turn, they also recover 10% health and protection. Then if base has less than 50% health when damaged, the weakest enemy is dealt 100% of that damage. So I don't know. Could be an interesting one, but I kind of prefer more Wedge and Biggs one for Wedge than this. However, most likely more of us will have base relic up instead of Wedge and Biggs, so maybe this is the one to use with Saul then. And then we have for Clone Wars Chewie. On basic ability, on their turn, other allies gain 25% turn meter. Same thing for Admiral Akbar. When Akbar uses basic on his turn, other allies gain 25% turn meter. And Jedi Consular, another meme character, but actually his level 9 is pretty cool because all allies are immune to healing immunity, so you can't land healing immunity on them, so it's pretty cool. And then whenever he uses an ability, all allies recover 15% health and protection, and the weakest ally additional 10%. And when he uses Jedi Healing, he will revive all defeated allies at 100% health and protection. So I think a useful one to have. It could maybe be even with Rey, or you could go, as we can see, Barriss with Rey. I think this could be an interesting one. Either of two of them using with Rey could be quite annoying. And let's have a look at Barris. So the first time Barris is defeated, so this is I think the repeat one, isn't it, what we had before already. If there is at least one other active ally, revive all other allies, and other allies recover 100% health and protection, gain 100% turn meter and 100% offense. So I think that's what we had before. We just used it with Ray, I believe. Then we have one for Daka. Whenever another ally is defeated, Daka takes a bonus turn and resets her cooldowns. It's kind of anti-Night Sister really, because you want Night Sisters to be down so that they can keep coming back up with Talzin's leadership. So I don't know, will really Daka get that much use for the Night Sisters. And finally, to finish off the list, Resistance Troopers. I think this one could be nice with Fiend to be used. On basic ability, if it's his turn, will expose the target enemy. Now his basic already has a chance to inflict expose, so I guess this will be on top of his basic ability. So you could potentially be inflicting 2 exposes on his basic, which is huge. And whenever he attacks an exposed enemy, he will also have 50% chance to attack again and expose a random enemy, and other allies will gain as well 20% turn meter. So more turn meter for Fiend resistance sounds good. And when he falls below 50% health for the first time, he gains damage, immunity and health still up. Fine, whatever. We got Qui-Gon on special, inflict armor shred. On basic, inflict expose if target has armor shred, and gain protection up 50 times. So I think it's something we had for Commander Luke Skywalker before. It's nothing really too crazy. Lando, I think we had this one as well. So on crit, bonus damage for his AoE is increased by 25%. So I guess if he lives long enough, his AoE could start dealing some big damage. Cad Bane, not only 2, but 3 level 9s for Cad Bane, and all of them are not that great. So one is when another ally uses ability, Cad assists, dealing 50% more damage. The second one is the first time Cad Bane goes below 100% health, recover 100% health protection and gain 100% turn meter. And the final one, when he damages an enemy, remove 25% turn meter from them. Are these good enough that he would replace somebody on a Jabba Hutt Cartel squad? I'm not sure. And finally, let's finish off with Sanfak. He has 100% counter chance and is immune to daze and stun. When he attacks out of turn, which if you do obviously use him with Geos, he'll be constantly attacking out of turn. Dispel debuffs on self and deal bonus true damage equal to 15% of max health. So I guess a little bit of extra damage, but nothing too crazy. And for each debuff dispelled this way, Geos gain 5% defense, max health and protections. I think we discussed, what was it, this focused crown that has level 3 on Geo Soldier. That's going to be one for Geos already. So I really would not probably waste my time with trying to get Sanfak up and running. And finally, let's quickly go through the list on my Swag of Life website for farming Datacrons. Again, if you do want to create your own list, this is fully customizable, just kind of like a starting template you can start to work with, or what I'm thinking to farm. Obviously, I don't have Cup leveled up, but if you do, definitely go for Queen Amidala, he'll go great there. Otherwise, as mentioned before, we want stacking offense to level 3. And then we want all this support with all the buffs and everything if you are running Cup Cron there. For John Skywalker, having 5s at level 9 obviously, and then damage reduction makes 5s harder to kill. And on level 3 we want the bulk Cron just to make gas more durable. I guess here for Saw we will want again bulk Cron and then buffs for support if you go with Biggs. Or you could go something with a tank and base as well, depend obviously the situation with your Biggs and Wedge. For Trench does have a Cron at the moment already, or is that one just expiring? I don't know. Either way, Dooku will slot in nicely on level 9 once that expires. Obviously extra damage for attackers and speed up on the basic. Rey, you could go 2 ways again. obviously you want the bulk, you want the healing immunity for the healers on level 6, and then either Barris or Jedi Consular I think are an interesting choice to have there. And then like the other level 9s I just kind of put at the bottom because they're not that impactful, I think, as we discussed already, but instead maybe focus on boosting up your core squads, GLs and other teams. So definitely having damage reduction for Karsanta is gonna hopefully stop Night Sisters from working. And then revive for Leia. If you do put her on defense, she's harder to take down. If not, then maybe attackers bonus turn for offense with Drogon could be nice. Obviously starting with turn meter with Leia is very nice as well. Then bulk for Kenobi. I was thinking maybe Repost could be an interesting choice for Kenobi because we have attackers, we have lots of attacks out of turn on a Kenobi squad, and then they can ignore protection. I think that could be very nice for a Kenobi squad. Same thing Repost with Luke, because all those inherited teachings, attacking out of turns, you can just keep ignoring protection. And then same thing Repost, right? What is it? Malaka's attacking out of turn again, can ignore protection, is pretty nice. And then here we have Palpatine to recover protection. I thought maybe healing immunity would be nice. If you're going up against Rey, you can inflict healing immunity with your visas. And then Ahsoka, similar like Leia, you will want probably Revive Crown for the tank, turn meter to start off. And then this could make these guys more difficult to take down, especially Malak and Malgus if you have a damage reduction for tanks. We'll discuss Lord Vader, max health damage at level 3, and then stacking offense on level 6 for the attackers. And then we have Traya again, you know, max health damage, we deal some debuffs. And then we want this one as well with the buffs. So, you know, and then the other guys that we discussed that are not that impactful for level 9s. So again, feel free to customize this list. You can remove the Datacrons, you can reorder them, you can manage accounts if you have more, create more lists, you can add new Datacrons, and obviously you can then share them with others that they see what you are planning. Alright guys, thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one, but until then have fun, enjoy life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.
In the dusty streets of Sandor, where the suns beat down so hard, rode a mercenary named Desert Fox with a heart forever scarred, forever scarred. From the shadows of the empire to the fall of the crime clan, she carved her name in legend as a ruthless, cunning hand.